Um, so this is something, well, first of all, in your expert opinion, what do you, before we get to the warning signs and how you can avoid it, what do you think happened here? Because this is a guy who's trying to make a tackle, got hit in the chest, I think the chest and head area, and then I guess the heart stopped, or in your expert opinion, what happened there?
Yeah, so I want to start by saying I'm not involved with his care, so it's based essentially on speculation.
Hmm.
But anytime an athlete or individual is struck in the chest and then collapses, one of the things you worry about is a rare but well-described condition called commotio cordis. And essentially, as the heart cycle functions, as it squeezes, there's a very vulnerable period. And if you get struck in the chest at that exact wrong moment, it could stimulate an abnormal heart rhythm or arrhythmia that would lead to a cardiac arrest.
Okay. And thankfully they were able to get his heart pumping again. And as you probably know, he's in critical condition. But is there, and I'm sure this is hard to say, but I mean, is there a way to avoid that other than um avoiding collisions like that? I mean, what do you do to prepare yourself for that?
You can't. I mean, there are certain medical conditions that lead people to be more prone to a cardiac arrest. I don't believe this is one of them. This is just incredibly bad luck and bad timing. The condition's been described in all sorts of sports, from lacrosse players to hockey players to mixed martial arts and martial arts activities. Really, again, just a blow to the chest at the exact wrong time of the cardiac cycle, the normal beating of the heart, can lead to disastrous results.
Not to be morbid or anything, but have you seen death from an incident like this?
I haven't. As I said before, it's well described. We have lots of case reports in the literature about this, but it's exceedingly rare. So I haven't firsthand witnessed something like this.
Okay. I guess that's really all I needed, man. Because if here's the thing, I mean, let's say you're a parent, you have a kid who's Friday Night Lights or whatever, like, or mixed
Exactly.
martial arts or hockey player.
Yeah. Yep.
What do you tell them? I mean, do you tell them to reconsider the sports, or what do you say, man? Hey, make sure your son or daughter doesn't do this or this or this. So, what would you tell the parents out there?
Yeah. My daughter plays soccer. She's 12, and loves playing soccer. Every decision we make as human beings comes with a risk and benefit. Driving down the street, going on a bike ride. And so, on one hand, you can't live your life in fear of something completely random and incredibly unlucky happening to you. And so, uh, unfortunately, this goes in the bucket of injuries that we know happen playing sports, whether they're ACL tears, whether they're CTE, whether it's, unfortunately, in this particular case, a presumed cardiac arrest. It's just, unfortunately, a lot of times bad luck. There's nothing I don't think anybody could have done to prevent this. One thing I do want to highlight, though, is the training staff was by his side within 10 to 15 seconds and immediately recognized the situation they were in. And if this should ever happen for any reason, it's an endorsement of bystander CPR to keep circulation going, and then an AED to shock the heart back into a normal rhythm, which it sounds like they did about as rapidly as you can do it, and gave him the best chance of a meaningful recovery and survival.
Was this a situation where any longer than about 15 minutes he could have died? Oh, again, he did die, but the
When
situation, I guess, could have been worse.
Again, so what the NFL and the Buffalo Bills have released from a statement perspective suggests that he got CPR for minutes at a time, which preserved blood flow to the rest of his body until they could provide the appropriate treatment and electrical shock to put him back into a normal rhythm. The longer you go outside of a normal rhythm, the harder it is to recover from that.
All right. Uh, Thanks again, Doc. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate your expertise. I hate the situation, man.
Oh,
I
it's terrible. And another thing, Robert, we do CPR, unfortunately, a lot in the hospital. It's something that, and it's not like TV. It's not like Grey's Anatomy or something. So when it's real life, and all his teammates and all the players on the field were obviously visibly shaken by this, because it's a it was a heroic action by the medical team, but it's tough to watch. And obviously people watching at home and in the stadium, it hits them as well. So a lot of fallout from this unfortunate incident. And hopefully, again, that the rapid CPR and the rapid AED defibrillation provided the player the best opportunity for a full recovery or meaningful recovery.
Cool. I mean, anything else you want to say, or are you all
No,
good?
that's it. Just again, it's not part of the treatment team. I want to be careful with what I say,
Of course.
but that seems to be what everybody has kind of concluded, and what the statements from the NFL and the Bills kind of suggest.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. And this will probably be, I don't know. You say you usually say you're up around 6 a.m.
Oh, he's just gonna the PR team here actually wanted me to ask you when it's going to air so they can. Yeah.
The plan is for tomorrow, since it's so timely.
Yeah. Okay.
Tomorrow, and then I'm assuming we get some sort of update later tonight, or overnight, or something like that. So this would air tomorrow morning, 5 a.m., 6 a.m. hours.
So can I tell you something not to use, just so you have some context?
Yeah.
So when somebody has an arrest out of the hospital for whatever reason, right?
Got it.
And they lose a pulse. What we typically do, in addition to the CPR and the defibrillation to get them back into a normal rhythm, when they arrive at the hospital in a normal rhythm, they undergo what's called targeted temperature management. So that we actually cool the body. And the idea behind that is, if we cool the body, it gives the brain more time to recover. And we do that for about 24 hours. And then we slowly warm them back up over another 24-hour period. So it might be a day or two before anybody really knows how this guy's, how he's doing. So information might be slow for the next day or two. Again, that's speculative, because I'm not part of, I'm not aware of what they're doing for him at the hospital in Cincinnati. So I ask you not to use that part, but just so you have some kind of context as the information comes out.
I'm not, the main thing is, the main thing that really hits was what I really wanted from you was what do you tell parents, about kids who play sports? Like, you have your daughter plays soccer, and unfortunately these are the risks that you take when your kids. And that's your expert opinion. You know what I'm saying? So
it absolutely is, but it's way less frequent than 1 in a million. It's 1 in a trillion. I mean, how many times have you seen somebody get? I mean, it looked like a relatively routine tackle, right? Like,
it was a normal tackle.
It was just the worst. In all likelihood, it was just the worst timing, worst luck, and there was probably nothing that anybody could have done to stop it.
That's it. And that's the direction I'm going for. The speculative, what do I think happened sort of thing is, people can. So what I usually do is I put our entire conversation online.
Yeah.
And so I say, well, if you want to hear more from Dr. Flanagan, you can go see this. So that the main thing about the kids and the students and the student athletes and stuff like that, that's more so what I'm going to use. So thanks again. And I appreciate it, man. And I'm hoping for the best for this guy, man.
Yeah, it's possible. You know, again, he's a young guy. He's super healthy, presumably. Mm-hmm. And if the CPR was done quickly and they got him back into a normal rhythm quickly, it's possible he has a very, very favorable recovery. So
now, let's say, and I don't know if you can answer this or not, but let's say he comes back. Is this a situation where he's going to have to take like a year away from the field, or what?
So if my suspicion that he had commotio cordis, so blunt chest trauma leading to an abnormal heart rhythm, and he makes a full recovery, he'll get some cardiac testing to make sure he has no long-term damage from that trauma. But it's possible that he makes a complete recovery and, tries to play again. And it'll be, Robert, when we talk to any athlete about a cardiac condition and them continuing to play, nothing is risk-free. And we use what's called a shared decision-making model or shared care model, where in this particular case, the team, the physicians, the player's family, any management, all kind of come to a decision on how to go forward based on the risks of this happening again. And as I said, this is just bad, in all likelihood, just bad luck. And there's a scenario where he plays again. after a lot of testing, a lot of conversation, assuming he makes a full recovery.
Mm-hmm. And that's the main thing right there is the recovery, man. So,
Yep.
All right. Well, I promise that was the last question.
Hey, man, anytime. Robert, good to see you.
Okay, you too, Dr. Flanagan.
See you.
All right.